I think if the law would have been in place in 1989, yes, we would have had a better system in place to have supported the families to bring to account the local authorities.
Whether it was before the new inquest or a few years ago, I think that it would have protected family members. I feel if the Hillsborough Law had already been in force and already existed, whether it was years ago or whether it was just come into force before these new inquests, I think that it would have made the whole process a lot less traumatic for us. I think that we wouldn't have had to have been put through sitting there listening to these lies again, and I think that it probably would have given our 96 the dignity that they didn't have in 1989.
I think if there was a law like this proposal in place back in 1989, we would have had a long fight, because I think that's the wants of the authorities, but it would have enabled the process to have been quicker, and people would have had to have been accountable sooner rather than later. And sadly, it hasn't been in place, so we will never know that deep down. But we hope that in the future people will, not have to go through what we went through.
Looking back to all the years that we've waited for this inquiry, if a Hillsborough Law or some sort of law on these lines had been in place, I just can't say how much of a difference it would have made, because not only have the families had to endure this wall of silence and this hate campaign by the authorities and the media throughout all these years and not had a voice until the inquiry.
They wouldn't have been able to do what they did. When you look back on the 27 years of what went on and what we went up against, it's hard to believe that the police and everybody else that was involved were allowed to do what they did. And it's pretty amazing to think that one, it took 27 years, and two, that they were facing parents, families, and we weren't going away. But we need this law now so that people never have to go through what we've gone through.